Spicy Dave here. Today I'm going to show you how to make a fermented pepper sauce. Now this pepper sauce is what most people consider to be a base. After you've gone through the fermentation process and actually made this sauce, that's when you would want to add your herbs and your spices, your fruits and vegetables that would personalize it for you. Now the three things you need for this pepper sauce is, number one, you need peppers. Now these peppers need to be ripe peppers. Green peppers do not go through the fermentation process well at all. So you can use either one type of pepper, or you can use a blend. Like I said before though, they do need to be a ripe pepper. The second thing you're going to need is salt. Now the salt needs to be kosher salt. Table salt will interfere with the fermentation process also. So a good kosher salt is what you need. The next thing you need is vinegar. You can use white wine vinegar, but that's pretty expensive for the volume that we use. If you're making a real small batch, white wine vinegar is perfect to use. It does add a lot of flavor to the sauce, but for the volume that I use, white wine vinegar is just too expensive for me, so I use the plain white vinegar. Now, the next thing you're going to need is a crock. I have an old glass crock that belonged to my grandmother. I've used it for years. I don't know if it's just sentimental value or the fact that I use this a lot and this is what I prefer. Now you can use either a glass jar of some type, a large one, a large pickle jar, or even a glass cookie jar. I've seen those used and those work well also. The one thing you do not want to use is any kind of metal. If you use any kind of metal thing to try to ferment your peppers in, it will leach the metal from the container and really mess up your sauce bad. The next thing you're going to need is some device that will chop your peppers up. I use a little food processor here. You can use a food processor, you could use a chopper, you can use a blender, if you want to use a cutting board and a knife. Anything will work just as long as you chop them up in a fairly medium size. The other thing you need is something to measure your salt with, and also you will need a cloth to cover your crock or whatever you let the peppers ferment in. The other thing you're going to need is a food colander. You can use this type that you squeeze through, or I have the type also that you can put a bowl or something and you run it through, anything like that. Now after you've got your peppers and you've washed them and you've separated them, you want to separate your peppers. When you're picking them, you're going to pick all types, colors, and ones that aren't quite ripe, some that have insect bites on them, some that have other types of blemishes. You want to wash and separate those. Don't just throw them away, because in another video I'll show you what you can use those for. But what you want to do after you've washed your peppers, and also, like I said, use your gloves through the whole process, even washing them. I've had my hands burn more after washing them than when just handling the peppers. But take your peppers and put them in a chopper or food processor or something, some sort like that. And just chop them up to a medium coarseness. That's about right. Just anything that would crush up that membrane and allow the salt to penetrate good inside and everything. Sometimes I've got the big ones like this, but it's got several cuts in it, or chopped up. But you can just do whatever you want. Now, what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've ground up about a gallon of peppers here. And your ratio wants to be somewhere around 30 to 32 to 1 peppers to salt. So that is equivalently probably about a half cup of salt to a gallon of peppers. So you just want to put this into your crock and then blend it up really good. Now, one thing that is really good about this that you can do, just stir your peppers up really good, and then add your salt to it. And a lot of people will say, Dave, you know, I really don't harvest enough peppers to get a gallon at a time. So that's what you can do is just run this process as you pick your peppers. That's totally fine. Just be sure you keep your ratio about that 30-to-1 ratio, and you just continue adding to your crock. Now the thing about it is, when you start your fermentation time, you want to start the timing from the point where you last added to the crock. For instance, you know, like this crock, I've actually been adding to this for about 4 weeks now. A half a gallon here, a gallon here, you know, a quart here. But each time I keep that 30-to-1 ratio and keep it going. Now, after that process has gone through where you've got the amount that you want in your crock, mix it up really good. You want that salt to be in there. Like I said, you can wear gloves. You can get in there and just, you know, mix it up like that. I use a wooden spoon sometimes. Just mix it up really good. Now, after you've got it mixed up really good, let's get that cleaned off. Then you want to just let this set for about a day with the lid open like this. Nothing on top of it. And what this does, this actually gathers the things out of the air that does the fermentation. And so it's gathered for, you know, I've already got that gathered for a day. Then you just want to take a washcloth or a towel or some type and put it over your peppers. Now, the reason you want to do this is the things that grow in there and makes the fermentation process happen needs air. But you want to keep that on there so that you don't get dust and, you know, flies or anything like that. Keep it clean. So, anyway, that's the process you do to start your fermentation. And what I'll do is we're going to continue this video later. But this is the starting process, so if you want to go ahead and get this started and wait on the second video, hopefully we'll have that out soon.